He said it lightly. That's what bothered me most. Let's be honest. Your kid's not college material. The words didn't slam onto the table. They drifted, casual, almost friendly. My sister-in-law nodded like he'd commented on the weather. My son kept his eyes on his plate, fork paused halfway to his mouth. In that small, ordinary pause, I felt something old wake up, known that tone my whole life. Growing up, my brother was the benchmark. The one teachers mentioned at parent meetings, the one relatives compared report cards to. When he spoke, people leaned in. When I spoke, they corrected. I told myself we outgrew that. Different careers, different cities, different lives. I built something steady. He built something impressive. I stopped measuring, or I thought I had. Across the table, my son's shoulders curved inward in a way I recognized too well. Not humiliation, anticipation, kind where you brace for agreement. I smiled before I answered. I didn't plan to. Strange, I said evenly, already has acceptance letters, still waiting on yours from 2008. The room didn't explode, it tightened. My brother froze, theatrically, not stunned into silence, but recalculating. His wife blinked, unsure whether to laugh. My son looked up just slightly. Have stopped there. I should have. But something protective, something that had been quiet for decades, decided not to shrink this time. And merit scholarship interviews, I added. 3 so far. 1 more next week. My voice wasn't sharp. It wasn't triumphant. It was factual. Calm. Almost boring. That's what shifted it. My brother leaned back, arms crossing in a way that pretended not to be defensive. Well, he said, clearing his throat, not everyone needs college anyway, was just being realistic. Realistic. I've heard that word used as a weapon before. I looked at my son then. You want to tell them where else you applied? He hesitated. Then, softly, he named the schools. Not bragging, just stating. There's something powerful about a young person speaking for themselves when they realize they're allowed to. My phone vibrated on the table. Unknown number. Normally I'd ignore it during dinner, but something told me not to. I answered quietly, listened. My brother tried to resume conversation with his wife, but he was watching me from the corner of his eye. I said, yes. And then I handed the phone to my son. His expression shifted as he listened. Not shock, not ecstasy. Focus. Thank you, he said, carefully. That means a lot. When he hung up, he didn't look at me first. He looked at his uncle. Confirmed the scholarship, he said, simply. There was no applause, no cheers, no dramatic moment where someone stood up and hugged. Just silence. My brother nodded once. That's good, he said. Good. The word felt smaller than what had just happened, but I let it sit there. Dinner ended earlier than usual. At the door, my brother clapped my son on the shoulder. Wes, I underestimated you. It was meant as generosity, a concession. But I noticed he didn't look at me when he said it. They left. My son stood in the kitchen a little straighter than before. Not puffed up. Just steadier. You know they were going to call? He asked. No, I said truthfully. He nodded, processing everything. Think Uncle Mark would say that. I know, I said. We didn't dissect it further. We didn't need to. Later that night, sat alone at the table, replaying it. What surprised me wasn't the satisfaction. It was the absence of anger. For years, swallowed comments like that, about me, about my choices. I told myself keeping peace was maturity. There's a difference between peace and quiet compliance. Tonight, I didn't humiliate him. I didn't raise my voice. Didn't list my own accomplishments to compete. I just refused to let dismissal pass as truth. My phone buzzed with a message. Tell him congrats, my brother wrote. Didn't realize he was that serious about it. That serious, stared at the words for a moment before replying. He worked hard. That was all. The rivalry didn't end. It shifted, lost its invisibility. For the first time, the authority at the table didn't belong to the loudest opinion or the oldest narrative. Belonged to evidence, to effort, to a young man who lifted his head when he realized he didn't have to inherit someone else's doubt. I realized something else. I wasn't trying to win. I was making sure my son never learned to shrink the way I did.